Let's discuss fixed exchange rates and the Trilemma. We have developed a complete theory of exchange rates based on the assumption that market forces in the money market and the foreign exchange market determine exchange rates. Can our theory also be applied to the equally important case of fixed exchange rate layers and to other intermediate layers? The answer is yes. Here we focus on the case of a fixed rate layer without contours, so that the capital is mobile and arbitrage is free to operate in the foreign exchange market. Exchange rate intervention takes the form of the central bank buying and selling foreign currencies. Buying and selling foreign currency at a fixed price, exchange rate at a fixed levels denominated E. The foreign country remains the Eurozone, and the home country is Denmark. Denmark's decision to peg its currency, the crown, to the euro at a fixed rate, exchange rate of Denmark per euro. What we now show is that a country with a fixed exchange rate faces monetary policy constraints, not just in the long run, but also in the short run. By assumption, equilibrium in the crown-euro forces market requires that the Danish interest rate be equal to the eurozone interest rate plus the expected rate of depreciation of the crown. But under a peg, the expected rate of depreciation is zero. Here, uncovered interest parity reduced to the simple condition that the Danish central bank must set its interest rate equal to I sub euros, the rate set by the ECB. So I Denmark is equal to I euros plus equals zero for a credible fixed exchange rate. So I Denmark is equal to I euros plus expected exchange rate minus exchange rate over exchange rate is equal to I euros. Denmark has lost control of its monetary policy. It cannot independently change its interest rate under a peg. Our short-run theory still applies, but with a different chain of causality. On a float, the home monetary authorities pick the money supply M. In the short run, the choices of M determines the interest rate I in the money market. In turn, YUIP. The level of I determines the exchange rate E. The money supply is an input in the model, an exogenous variable, and the exchange rate is an output of the model, an endogenous variable. On a fix, this logic is reversed. Home monetary authorities pick up the fixed level of the exchange rate E. In the short run, a fixed E pins down the home interest rate I, YUIP, forcing I to equal the foreign interest rate I star. In turn, the level of I determines the level of the money supply M necessary to meet money demand. The exchange rate is an input in the model, an exogenous variable, and the money supply is an output of the model, an endogenous variable. In Figure 4.15, the home country is now assumed to fix its exchange rate with the foreign country. Let's look at 4.5.3. Peking sacrifice monetary policy autonomy in the long run. The price level in Denmark is determined in the long run by PPP. But if the exchange rate is pegged, we can write long-run PPP for Denmark as price P, capital P sub Denmark is equal to E bar Denmark per euros times P sub EUR. With the long-run nominal interest rate and price level outside of Danish control, we can show, as before, that monetary policy autonomy is out of the question. We just substitute I Denmark is equal to I euros, and P Denmark is equal to exchange rate Denmark per euros times P euros into Denmark's long-run money market equilibrium to obtain. Our long-run theory still applies, just with a different chain of causality. On the off-road, the home monetary authorities pick the money supply M. In the long run, the growth rate of M determines the interest rate I, while the Fisher effect and also price level P. In turn, while PPP, the level of P determines the exchange rate E. The money supply is an input in the model, an exogenous variable, and the exchange rate is an output of the model, an endogenous variable. On a fix, this logic is reversed. Home monetary authorities pick the exchange rate E. In the long run, the choices of E determines the price level P, Y, PPP, and also interest rate I, Y, UIP. This, in turn, determines the necessary level of the money supply M. The exchange rate is an input in the model, an exogenous variable, and the money supply is an output of the model, an endogenous variable. This reverse of long-run causality is also shown in the new schematic in the bottom part of the figure, 4.15. Let's look at 4.5.4, the Trilemma. Our findings lead to the conclusion that policymakers face some tough choices. Not all desirable policy goals can be simultaneously met. These constraints are summed up in one of the most important principles in open economy macroeconomics. Consider the following three equations and parallel statements about desirable policy goals. Firstly, a fixed exchange rate. The quantity expected exchange rate of Denmark per euro minus exchange rate of Denmark per euros over exchange rate of Denmark per euro is zero. Maybe desired as a means to promote stability in trade and investment. It is represented here by zero expected depreciation. Secondly, international capital mobility. I sub Denmark is equal to I sub euro plus the quantity expected exchange rate of Denmark per euros minus exchange rate of Denmark per euro over exchange rate of Denmark per euro. It may be desired as a means to promote integration, efficiency, and risk sharing. It can be represented here by uncovered interest parity, which results from arbitrage. Thirdly, monetary policy autonomy. I sub Denmark per euro is not equal to I sub euro. It may be desired as a means to manage the home economy's business cycle, represented here by the ability to set the home interest rate independently of the foreign interest rate. For a variety of reasons, governments may want to pursue all three of these policy goals. But Formula 1, 2, and 3 show that it is mathematical impossibility as shown by the following statements. 1 and 2 implies not 3. 1 and 2 implies inches equality, contradicting 3. 2 and 3 implies not 1. 2 and 3 imply an expected change in exchange rate, contradicting 1. 3 and 1 implies not 2. 3 and 1 imply a difference between domestic and foreign returns, contradicting 2. This result, known as the Trilemma, is one of the most important ideas in international macroeconomics. It tells us that the three policy goals are mutually incompatible. You cannot have all three at once. You must choose to drop one of the three, or equivalently, you must adopt one of three pairs, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 3 and 1. The trilemma can be illustrated graphically as figure 4.16. Each corner of the triangle represents a variable policy layer choices. For each corner, the label on the opposite edge of the triangle indicates the goal that has been sacrificed, while the labels on the two adjacent edges show the two goals that can be attained on that choice. In this chapter, we draw together everything we have learned so far about exchange rates. We build on the concept of arbitrage and equilibrium in the foreign exchange market in the short run, taking expectations as given and applying uncovered interest parity. We also relied on the purchasing power parity theory as a guide to exchange rate determination in the long run. Putting together all these building blocks provides a complete and internally consistent theory of exchange rate determination. The theory we have developed in the past three chapters is the first tool that economists and policymakers pick up when studying a problem involving exchange rates. This theory has served well in rich and poor countries, whether in periods of economic stability or turbulence. So much for chapter 4. Thank you very much. See you next time.